Set 21 database log technical question and answers. Answers are highlighted in green. Question 1. When is a database soft lock typically initiated in a clinical trial? So the option A says after the final statistical analysis is complete. Now the logic is the soft lock cannot happen after the statistical analysis is complete, right? It doesn't make any sense. So this is not the right answer during the first interim analysis. Now, when you are conducting the interim analysis, the soft lock cannot be initiated logically, right? So this is not the right answer. After the clinical study report submission. Now, after the submission, what sense does it make in doing the soft lock? So this is not the right answer. So the correct answer is after all subject data entry and data cleaning are done, but before database lock approval. So in each milestone, especially in the clinical trials, there is a stepwise way that it happens, right? So once the data is cleaned and the data entry has been entered properly for all the subjects, only then the soft lock can happen. So the soft lock occurs once data cleaning is complete, allowing a final review before hard lock. Question 2. What is the main purpose of implementing a soft lock in EDC systems? Option A, to allow subjects to continue data entry. No. Option C, to permanently close data for all users. Now it doesn't make sense in closing the data when the purpose of implementing soft lock is not to close data, right? So this is not the right answer. To restart database build. Now it doesn't make sense in starting the database build. So this is not the right answer. So the correct answer is to temporarily restrict data entry while enabling limited query resolution. Now, whenever there happens a soft lock, it is restricted to certain extent, right? So, even if there are any limited queries which are still pending and the resolution it needs to be done from this side, so that can be done. So, this is the right answer, option B. So, the soft lock prevents further data entry, but it still permits limited data correction. So, say for example, you have a data entry, the site did not responded from a very long time, but during the process of this soft lock, whenever it was implemented, after the soft lock, the site gave the resolution. So in those scenarios wherever there is a rare and the rational reason, you can still permit limited data corrections and you can still make the changes in the database. Question 3. Which team usually initiates the database soft lock request? Option B, clinical operations team. Now, clinical operation team usually they get involved into recruitment, then site related activities, then the patient related activities, then the medical team related activities, then any food related like canteen and all those. So those are the clinical operations team. So this is not the right answer. Biostatistics is related to the statistical analysis and the programming aspect and not related to database. So this is not the right answer. Regulatory affairs is nothing but dealing with the ethics committee and approval of the medicine or not. So this is not the right answer. The correct answer is data management team, because this team is the one who creates the database, does the entry, it does validate. So each and everything is done by the data management wherever there is a database is concerned. So this team initiates the database soft lock request. Now the data management team coordinates and initiates the soft lock once data cleaning is complete. So the correct answer is A. Question 4. In a soft lock database, which of the following activities is still allowed? Adding new subject visits. No. You cannot add new subjects visits once you are near to the soft lock. Modifying CRF design. Now this is impossible because the database is already entered for most of the subjects, right? So it doesn't make sense in doing any modifying the CRF design. Now if you do that, imagine you might have to re-enter everything and you have to rebuild the database. So this is not the right answer. Importing new lab data. Now you are nearing to the soft lock, so it doesn't make sense in importing the new lab data. So this is not the right answer. So the correct answer is closing open queries with sponsor approval. So whenever the database is near to the soft lock, the only activities that are allowed are related to the closing any open queries with the sponsor's approval. So the correct answer is C. Only specific query closures or minor corrections are permitted under controlled access. Question 5. During soft lock review, the biostatistics team identifies a missing visit date. What is the correct action? Enter the date directly. No. Option C, ignore since it's post clinic. No, you cannot ignore even if it's a missing visit date. You cannot ignore it, right? Raise deviation instead of correction. Now, missing visit date is not a deviation, right? If the specific visit has not occurred as per the scheduled visit, and it has occurred, like say 2 days after, or some other related issues where it has created some non-compliance as per the scheduled time points, right? So in those scenarios you can raise deviation, but not in this case. So the correct answer is request data management to unlock specific subject for correction. So the correct answer is B. Data management can temporarily unlock the subject form for correction under controlled workflow provided you have the valid reason. Now, if this missing visit date, it affects the statistical analysis and it's an important factor to be included in the efficacy analysis. So, in those scenarios, wherever there is a correct and the rational reason, it can be unlocked. Question 6. What happens to audit trails during the soft lock phase? Option A, they are cleared to reduce file size. No, you cannot reduce any kind of file size even if it's a larger size. They are frozen until hard lock. No, in soft lock you cannot froze because you can make certain temporary changes provided you have the rational reason, but you cannot freeze the database lock, right? So option D says they are turned off temporarily. No. So you cannot turn off any of the audit trails that are happening in the soft lock. So the option B is the correct answer, where it says they remain active and continue tracking any authorized data change. So the correct answer is B. Audit trails remain fully active to capture any permitted post soft lock changes. Question 7. What is the typical next step after soft lock completion and sponsor approval? Option B, database migration. No, this is not the right answer. Option C, protocol amendment. Now, the soft lock is completed and the sponsor has approved. So, what sense does it make in making any changes into the protocol amendment, right? Unless and until that's a valid reason, and unless and until there is a serious issue that needs a change in the protocol, only in those scenarios. Otherwise, it's not possible, and that too it happens in very rare to rare cases. So this is not the right answer. Randomization recheck. Now it doesn't make sense in doing the recheck of randomization, because once you have reached to the soft lock completion and the sponsor is already approved, how it is possible that the randomization was not checked properly or it was not validated? So that is next to impossible. If you are performing the soft lock, that means randomization was validated and it was rechecked. So this is not the right answer. So the correct answer is hard lock initiation. So once the soft lock is completed and the sponsor is approved, you can do the hard lock initiation. So once soft lock is reviewed and approvals are complete, the database proceeds to hard lock. Question 8. Which report is typically reviewed during soft lock validation? Option B, data entry speed report. Now it doesn't make sense related to the data entry, because we are considering into the validation of that. Option C, training compliance report. This is not the right answer. Now the site payment report. Now it does not make sense in connecting of the site payment and the soft lock validation. So this is not the Right answer. So the correct answer is missing value report. Now why it is missing value report? Because whenever you're doing any soft lock validation, you need to ensure that the report is conducted for the all the missing values. Now that helps to confirm that no essential data fields are incomplete before hard lock. So if there are any situations where the site is able to give you the value for all those missing values, then it makes sense in collecting those data. Question 9. In a soft lock scenario, who has edit access to the EDC system? All site users? No. Data entry personnel only? No. Clinical monitors. Now the clinical monitors team is to monitor whether the patient is following the scheduled assessments, related activities that are supposed to happen in the protocol. So those monitoring team, whether food is taken properly, whether all the necessities which are there in the hospital, whether they have been taken care or not. So the clinical monitors, their job is to monitor, not to give any access to this EDC system, right? So this is not the right answer. So the correct answer is limited data management administrator. Now admin is the one who gives you access to the EDC system, and those are also very limited. It's not like all the admin will have the access to that system. So the correct answer is C with limited admin. Only authorized data managers can edit during soft lock, ensuring control data integrity. Question 10. Why is soft lock an important control step before hard lock? Now option A, it verifies data transfer script. It doesn't make sense in verifying the transferring of scripts because that concept does not belong. So this is not the right answer. It validates clinical trial budget. Now budget has nothing to do with the database. Budget is something like, out of the question of performing the soft lock and the hard lock. So this is irrelevant option. It allows sponsor to add new patients. Now when you are nearing to the soft lock and you are doing the hard lock of the database which is permanently being done, doesn't make sense in adding the new patient. So this is like, irrelevant option. So this is not the right answer. It ensures a controlled environment to validate data integrity before permanent closure. So the soft lock is nothing but the lock, it happens temporary, where you can make any changes to the database provided you have the rational reason and provided the sponsor has approved. Hard lock is that kind of lock in the database where it is permanently locked and you cannot unlock it once it is locked and the hard lock approval has been received from the sponsor. So the soft lock provides a buffer to confirm data accuracy before the irreversible hard lock. So the correct answer is option B. Please like, share and subscribe. Leave a feedback comment mentioning any topic that you want me to make a video. Looking forward for a positive response. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Leave a feedback comment. Many thanks for your support and having great connection.